Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I think this is my first cooking video, not sure, can't remember if there is any on this channel. Yeah, today we're going to be making my much talked about Bakewell slice. Now this is a mashup. I'll show you what we're making. These. This is a mashup of two different recipes and some additions of my own, so I think it's different enough from both recipes that I can call it my own. So this is my Bakewell slice recipe. Now the problem with my video is that I'm using my husband's laptop to record and it decided to go to sleep while I was recording, so there's a bit missing, but I'll talk you through what I did while it was off. Enjoy. Okay, our first job is to make the shortbread base, and this is what I think of an original shortbread. It's literally just flour and fat, really. You get your flour, your sugar and your butter and you mix them all together. I actually also add a little pinch of salt because it just tastes better. Salt brings flavour, people, so just add a pinch of salt to pretty much everything. This is, I think, 250 grams worth of plain flour. I'll put the exact measurements in the comments so that you can have a go yourself. And then there is 75 grams of caster sugar. You need caster sugar because it's that finer sugar. And 175 grams of butter. I don't know why I put it on the scale. I already know that it's 175 grams. You just dump that all in your bowl and then start rubbing the flour into the fat. The butter in this is softened. It's not like when you make pastry and it's cold and you make breadcrumbs. This you need it to be softened. Yeah, I almost forgot the pinch of salt, but there we go. There's your pinch of salt going in. You just go towards breadcrumbs, and once you've got breadcrumbs, you keep going until you end up with a dough, which doesn't actually take that long. But I have issues with getting stuff on my hands. I often actually wear gloves when I do this stage because I hate the feeling of stuff drying on my skin. I couldn't do pottery at school for the same reason. At a certain point it will start clumping up into one big dough ball, and you just want to make sure you've got no lumps of butter. The last time I made this I had to take it back out of the pan because I had a giant lump of butter in it and just kind of rub it in. But because it's shortbread and it is literally just the base of your Bakewell, it doesn't really matter if you have to overwork it a little bit because it's short. It's not going to do anything to it. It doesn't make it tough or anything like that. Okay, this is my tray. It's a Lamington tray, which is sort of a smaller baking dish, and it's got the high side. So you do want a side because obviously you're making a layered slice. I think sometimes they are actually called slice pans. Mine is lined with the silicone? I don't know. One of those reusable baking sheets, but you can just use baking paper because you can actually put your baking paper now in the green bin and it recycles. So you want to make it into a nice thin base. I use a high-sided glass for this because your rolling pin does not fit. And it makes it most even it can be. Make sure you manage to get it into the corners and smoosh it in, otherwise your jam will end up in the bottom of the tray and it's just something you do not want. So you can see it kind of splits along the edge, but you can just stick it back together with your fingers. Okay, there it is. You only need 10 minutes in the oven for this. Right, so we've reached the point at which I am a dumbass. You put that aside to cool down a little bit. And while it's over there cooling down, you make the filling, which is the next part, which is the cake layer. So it's kind of butter and sugar just creamed together, and then you add your 3 eggs, some almond essence, some vanilla essence, and cream that all together until it just looks gross because it kind of curdles, but it doesn't matter because you're about to add flour. 50 grams of flour and 100 grams of ground almonds, and just mix that all together until it's light and fluffy. I also add the pinch of salt to this as well, and then once that's made and sitting there in your mixer, you bring your shortbread bit back over, and I used like a whole thing of jam for this, so you can choose whatever jam you like. I always use raspberry jam just because I like the flavour, and you spread that evenly across your shortbread. Now what you want to do if you have a runny jam is leave a edge on your shortbread so that there's some that is not covered in jam, because once you start putting the topping on, it's going to spread out more. I did not do that with my one, and it turns out that the fancy French jam is a little bit runnier than the one I normally use, and there was some jammy edges, but it still tastes awesome. So it really doesn't matter if you have jammy edges, but that's a tip. If you have runny jam, don't spread to the edge. Okay, this is where my I noticed that it wasn't working. See, my jam is very runny, it's getting pushed to the edge. So you want to make that as flat as you can, or like as even a layer as you can with your batter on top of the jam. It really doesn't matter if your jam gets a bit swelled through your batter. It's not gonna affect it at all. Okay, so what I do is, because I, as a Brit, think that every Bakewell has to have cherries, right? It's just the law. So I shove about 200 grams of glace cherries into the batter before it's cooked. The sugary syrup stuff dissipates into your filling, so you can't really taste the sugariness of the cherries anymore. They actually taste completely different, to the point where my mother-in-law didn't know that they were glacé cherries that I was putting in there, and she asked if I had got them from a specialist shop. So just use as many or as little as you want, but I use like as many as possible because I really like them. If you're not here for cherry based items, why have you clicked on a Bakewell video? Anyway, you can not put them in if you really want, but it's going to be boring. This is like the best part. So once you've dotted those all around kind of evenly, you want the flaked almonds, the really thin bits that you used to have on top of trifles. You want those, and liberally sprinkle them around the top as well. I put quite a lot on, at least 2 handfuls. They don't burn or anything like that, so that's good. And what happens with this is when it bakes, it rises up so you can barely see the cherries anymore, which you'll see in a minute. Yeah, this is that's it. It's done. You can just put it in the oven now. Needs a 170 or so oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Okay, this is me now attempting to get it out of its tray. I was trying to do this while it was still quite hot. If I had more time, I probably would recommend to just let it cool down in the tray, which is what I normally do. I make it in the morning and then come back for afternoon tea when it's completely cool. But because of my excess of jam, I was going to have problems anyway. As you can see, my jam had a party with the liner, so yeah. As you can see, most of like the middle cherries especially are pretty much completely covered by the Bakewell filling now. The recipe that I got the filling from, she says this only cuts into 12, but I am a glutton and I still cut this into 16. I will happily eat an excessive amount of it, but I will still cut this into 16 pieces, so I don't know where she got 12 from, but anyway. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, and here is what it looks like on the inside. You've got the layer of jam, cherry, and your layer of Bakewell. And I have to say that this is the yummiest thing I've ever eaten. And I'm just 100% biased. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this. Let me know on Instagram if you actually give this a go and make it, because I just want to see what you guys make. And let me know if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.